Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. I'm your host, Darren Campbell. We had a really busy weekend this past weekend. It's been very fun. Lots of amazing things happening in the world of sports. Hockey's coming down to the finish. NBA playoffs are getting into the finals now this week. Baseball's regular season finished this weekend, going into the playoffs now, and NFL's Week 3 season was underway. And, of course, UFC 253, two title fights on the card. So lots to break down. As usual, we welcome in our great friend Jason Cameron to break down tons of sports today. Hey, Jason, how are you? Happy Monday.
Monday's been great. Sun is shining. It was actually really hot today. Like it's a beautiful day today. I look forward to the rest of the week.
Yeah, it was nice to see the weatherman really cooperating. We had a storm roll in through here last week, and you were thinking, fall's really kicked in, and we might not see the sun for a while. But this week's supposed to be super nice weather, and it always makes you feel a lot better when it's beautiful like this, and we can be out in it, not having to worry about rain gear and all that kind of stuff. So. Yeah, let's talk about NFL to start with. Really great Week 3. Obviously, the Monday Nighters going on right now as we speak, and it's halftime. And Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs are having a fantastic game. Mahomes has 260 passing yards, 3 touchdowns through the air, and 1 on the ground himself. Man, the guy is worth all that $500 million contract he signed and more. Looks like the Chiefs are definitely the favorite to repeat as Super Bowl champions. They're looking amazing.
It's funny. I normally would never say this, but they may have to renegotiate after this year if he wins another Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like he looks like a world beater right now. He looks awesome. Like the offense is just clicking, and the offense is clicking as much as the defense. They're rolling. They're rolling, man, and they're rolling against great teams. Like Baltimore is a very, very good team, and they're making them look quite pedestrian right now. So, yeah.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people say that this was a game on the schedule that most people really circled and said maybe the game of the year. Last year, these teams faced each other, and Kansas City obviously won. Lamar Jackson won the MVP last year. This is the first time in NFL history that 2 MVP players that are less than 25 years old are facing off against each other in a game. And Lamar's playing well, but just doesn't have the same type of horses that Mahomes has. And looks like it might be another really big blowout for the Chiefs. But, I was looking forward to this Monday Nighter the whole week. And, Mahomes and the Chiefs definitely living up to that billing. Exciting team. And, incredible defense, offense, they've got it all. They definitely could be a dynasty. You know, we could see this team winning many Super Bowls in the years to come.
Well, we've seen sorry to interrupt you, but we've seen it before with like Tom Brady. As long as you got that guy, then everything is within your grasp, so to speak. And so now that the Kansas City Chiefs have that guy, Mahomes, well, let's see what you can do, buddy. Let's see how many Super Bowls it's going to be. Let's see if you're – but I'm just going to say this. I'm going to say this right now. He's not going to be as vilified as much as I hate Tom Brady. He's not that guy. I like Patrick Mahomes. I don't like Tom Brady. But I like Patrick Mahomes, though. And so I just see a very, very bright future. Very bright.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, exactly. Speaking of the guy, Russell Wilson having an MVP type start to the year. 3 games in, he's got 14 touchdowns, taking Seattle onto his back and getting 3 really big wins right away. He's just looking magnificent, and he's a lot of fun to watch. Seattle's been so lucky to have him for this many years, and I can't believe he's even getting better.
He just has the natural knack to always make the right reads downfield. Like he just does that all the time. And he's got great receivers to get the ball to, that he gets the ball to, especially Lockett, who's his number one. DK Metcalf just needs to learn from Lockett and get into the end zone first, my friend, before you start to try to celebrate. Just get in the end zone, then you can do whatever you want. But you got to get in there. So hopefully he learned his lesson from that, and we won't be seeing any of that nonsense anymore. But again, Russell Wilson just looks absolutely fantastic. MVP caliber stuff, and he's got that train rolling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They were such a run-first team for so many years with Russell there, but they've definitely become a pass-first team now. Lockett, 3 touchdowns, 100 yards through the air. Metcalf, another 110 yards through the air. Russell would have had 6 touchdowns if Metcalf didn't drop that, and hopefully that was a learning lesson for him. Definitely get in there before you celebrate. Unfortunately, Chris Carson was hurt in the game and sprained his knee, and they say 1 or 2 weeks probably. They're not exactly sure yet, but that's quite a blow. So Wilson will have to make up for that loss and go through the air a lot more. It looked like a really great matchup. Dallas is an explosive offense. Not a great defense on Seattle side yet this year. They've allowed the most passing yards. They've really looked a little bit leaky. Dak Prescott, 472 yards through the air, 3 touchdowns, but he had a couple picks, and Dallas wasn't able to overcome that. Yeah, it was a fun game to watch. I really enjoyed it, and great to see Seattle off to this 3-0 start.
Yeah, man, it's great to see the Seahawks flying out of the gate the way that they are, and just running the table. And I hope that they can continue their good fortune for the rest of the season, because I love the Seahawks. I love the Seahawks.
Another team that you love, Atlanta Falcons, looking great on offense, but not looking great on defense. 2 fourth quarter leads they blew in the last 2 weeks there, set records for blowing these leads. And another shocking one, Dallas shocked them last week, and all of a sudden this week they just couldn't keep it together. Nick Foles came in and engineered a comeback. And how do you feel being a Falcons fan, seeing these 2 losses? Must be tough.
Yeah, because I actually am a Falcons fan, and I'm looking at the team going, so the offense is getting it done. Matty Ice he's doing his thing, and the defense have they taken the field? Are they out there? I don't know what's happening. It sucks because the offense is rolling, but the defense can't stop anybody right now. They literally cannot stop anybody. And it's hard. It would be super hard mentally for Matty Ice to know I got to try to hang 40 every game for maybe a win, and it's not guaranteed. Like, what do I need to do? Yeah. Hopefully, the Falcons can get something figured out on the defensive side of things, because the way that they're going, they're not even going to make the playoffs. They're not even going to make the playoffs right now. So hopefully some changes can be made, but right now it's looking kind of grim for the Falcons.
Yeah, when teams start 0-3, typically they don't make the playoffs. I think it's something like 85% of those teams just don't make it. So, yeah, it's a tough start. Dan Quinn taking some heat, possibly on the line for his job. And yeah, on the other side of that ball, Nick Foles took over for Mitch Trubisky, and yeah, we saw Nick Foles end up getting Super Bowl MVP after he took over for Carson Wentz, and now he's taken over for Trubisky. 3 touchdowns in that fourth quarter, and just over 4 minutes. Looked phenomenal. They've named him the starting quarterback this week against Indy. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't go with Foles right away, but yeah, he's the kind of guy that can come in, pinch hit, and really get you some big wins.
Yes, because Foles has done it before, and he's done it on the biggest stages available. So I'm not surprised that he's now the starter, because obviously I guess the Bears wanted to give Trubisky a chance, see what he could do. Apparently he did do nothing, so now Nick Foles is in. So I kind of expect Nick Foles to keep the starting job too for the rest of the year, to be honest with you. I don't know. I don't think Trubisky will get that back.
Yeah.
We shall see.
Probably not. Yeah. As long as Foles can keep playing like he did, I think they'll run with him for a while. Another big marquee matchup yesterday was the Packers and Saints, Sunday Night Football. Packers had a big 37-30 win. Aaron Rodgers looking phenomenal. Some of those balls that he threw were just amazing. Just dropped them in exactly right into the receiver's hands. You always, when you look at matchups like that, you always talk about the quarterbacks, especially the old guys, Breeze and Rodgers. Everybody wrote off Breeze saying, oh, he's too old after the first 2 weeks. He looked great. Missing Michael Thomas obviously is a huge blow. But Devontae Adams was out for Green Bay too. But Green Bay looked great, and I'm not sure about the Saints so far this year.
Yeah, question marks with the Saints. I'm not going to totally write them off yet because they're, like you said, they're still missing their top receiver in Michael Thomas. So let's see what happens when he comes back into the fold. But Aaron Rodgers, once again, the guy is, he's a Hall of Famer, and he's really good. Some of those balls, like you said, that he threw were perfect. They were in stride, in step, right in the breadbasket, so to speak. He's really good. He's really, really good. Great win by Green Bay, man. Great win.
The Saints' Alvin Kamara played incredible, fantastic game. Looked otherworldly and great, but I think they need Thomas back, and they need to get a bit better defensive performance. Another really amazing quarterback this year, already in the MVP talk, is Josh Allen. Led Buffalo to a 3-0 record, and they beat the Rams 35-32. They almost blew the game. Rams came back from 28-3 down with 29 points in a row, but Allen was able to engineer a late touchdown drive and get that big win. He's looking fantastic. First 3 games, setting records and just being really super solid.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I'm a little bit surprised at Josh Allen's coming out party, so to speak, for this year so far. He has done terrific, and the team has really gravitated towards his play. They really come together as a team, offense and defensively, and that's a huge win against a great team in the LA Rams. So that was big time. That goes to show you that this team is for real, and they're here. They're here right now to stay.
Phillip Rivers in Indy threw his 400th touchdown and passed 60,000 yards. He joins elite company as the 6th guy to join those guys, 400 touchdowns and 60,000 yards. Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Brett Favre, and Dan Marino are the first 5 guys to do it. So Hall of Fame's probably in the cards for Rivers. He definitely needs to get a Super Bowl to, solidify that 100%, but elite company that he just joined.
Yeah, like just look at who you just mentioned. Those are some of the best quarterbacks to have played the game. And I probably would not have guessed that Phillip Rivers would be the 6th guy on that team, on that list, I should say. But he is, and he's earned every bit of that. Like you said, if he were to win a Super Bowl, then he's definitely a Hall of Famer. But I think just with those 2 stats alone, a 400 touchdowns, 60,000 passing yards, he's in. He's in. Like, how could you leave a guy with those kind of numbers out of the Hall of Fame? You can't.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. He's got my vote. Just wasn't able to ever lead the Chargers to a Super Bowl, but fantastic career, and it continues on. There was a tie in the NFL, and we don't see that very often. It was a pretty sad tie. Cincinnati and Philly tied at 23. 6 punts in overtime, and a really controversial one with about 19 seconds left. They decided to, instead of going for it, they punted it away and just gave them a tie. I don't understand why the Eagles would do such a thing and not at least go for it there. A lot of criticism being labored their way, and it's not impressed. I'm not impressed when I see a tie. Definitely in the NFL, should never happen that way.
No, and also too, like you said, like it's kind of like, what are you doing? You got money on this game? Did you need it to be a tie? It doesn't even make any sense, actually, if you really think about it. Like, why would you do that? You have to go for the win. You got to go for the win, man. Like, you just can't just punt it away and be like, it's gonna be a tie. We're good. Let's go home, boys. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. That's about all I got for that one. Boggles the mind. I still don't understand it. Hopefully, down the road, one of these years, somebody can explain it to me.
I think it's going to be hard to. I know that they received a lot of heat for it yesterday and today. So I think they'll, if it ever comes up again, they'll make the right choice and go for it. We'll touch on a couple more games. Patriots looking good, leading the league with seven rushing touchdowns. Cam Newton got 4 of them. They had 250 yards on the ground, even though White's out. Burkhead had 2 really fantastic touchdowns. Sony Michel, 117 yards on the ground, as well as Cam Newton running the ball. They've decided, this is the style they're going to play, and they look great in that 36-20 win over the Raiders.
Yeah, and once again, Bill Belichick is a wizard. He understands the players that he has on the team, and he's designed the offense to accentuate those skill sets, especially with Cam Newton and his running skills, right? So I give him a ton of credit to completely, literally revamp the offense to match Cam's skill set. And so then, and I'm not surprised to see them now as a running team, and a dominant running team at that. Very dominant running team at that. So great win by the Patriots, and so far, so good for the Cam Newton experiment for this year.
Yeah, obviously some heavy hearts there. James White's parents were involved in a car crash last week, and I guess actually the week before last, and his father was passed away, and his mother's still in hospital. It seemed to really be tough for a lot of the guys to talk about and deal with, and they're rallying around him, and they dedicated that victory to him and his family. Man, what a tough thing to have to go through.
Yeah, of course. Like whenever you have some sort of like a major tragedy of that magnitude that has happened to one of your teammates and one of your players, I think all of those guys in that locker room play just a little bit harder to make sure that they can get that win for that guy, you know, for his family as well. And I hope and I pray that his mom makes it out, and she goes on to have a quick recovery.
Speaking of tragedies, there was a near tragedy. Joe Montana's home. His granddaughter was almost kidnapped from his home. They had to thwart some people that had broken into his home and were trying to kidnap his granddaughter over the weekend. Pretty scary situation. Luckily, they caught the perpetrators, and the granddaughter isn't safe and everything. But it was pretty shocking news for me to hear, and I'm glad nothing terrible happened out of it. Yeah,
it was completely shocking that people would try to do, like, and anybody would try to do that to anybody's kids. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm just glad that everybody was there where they needed to be to ensure that didn't happen, that didn't go down the way that the perpetrators wanted to go down. So I'm glad to hear that Joe's safe, his family's safe, and the granddaughter's safe, and that those people will be going to jail and staying in jail for a very, very long time.
Cleveland's above 500 for the first time in 2,114 days. December 14th of 2014. They've went through 4 GMs, 5 head coaches, and 10 different starting quarterbacks in that time. They were talked about as a really good, solid team last year, and they fizzled out as usual. Do you think they have the horses this year to make the playoffs and go very far?
You try to cheer for this team, right? You try to hope for the best, and then you just go, oh, well, they are the Browns, so this is what they do. I don't know what to say. I don't think so. I honestly, I would love to think that this could be their year. I don't think it's their year. I think they still need some help on both sides of the ball. To me, it just feels like they're just not over the hump yet. I think they will get there as long as they do smart draft picks and such, but I don't think so yet.
No. Yeah, well, it was a great week 3. Lots of tight games, lots of great things. Titans just edged out with a 31-30 win. Tannehill looked pretty solid. 6 field goals for Gostkowski to get that victory. Brady engineered a 28-10 win, Tampa Bay over Denver. Brady threw a touchdown to the 80th different player in his career, which is a record and constantly becomes a record. In New England, it just seemed like year after year they were changing receivers, getting in new guys, and he would just engineer touchdowns and throw to different guys year after year. Now he's doing it in Tampa Bay, and that's the 80th guy that he's thrown a touchdown to, which was Godwin.
Yeah, it's Tom. Yeah, it's great. It's great. I look forward to when he retires. But anyways, man, it is amazing. It's just amazing. Like, the guy's literally amazing every time. Like, he boggles your mind, because it's like, hell, he's still getting it done. Like, how old are you? Like 54? Like, anyways, yeah, he is amazing that he can still play at this level, at such a high level still. And then, 80 people. Yeah. Do you know how long it would take me to list off 80 people that he's thrown touchdowns to? Forever. It's ridiculous. Yes, he's really good, and I really hope he does not make it to the Super Bowl. Because if he does, oh my goodness, why? Why would you do this to me? God, why are you? Why? Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, I shouldn't have ended our football segment on Brady, but yeah, I know he's definitely caused a lot of football fans a lot of pain that are outside of New England area. So let's move on to some other things. I want to talk about our partners and sponsors before we move on to some basketball. Anchor FM has been a really great partner and sponsor for Complete Sports Media. They are an amazing podcast platform, the easiest place to make your podcast, and they will post on multiple podcast platforms for you once you've created it. Verbero, the hockey equipment and apparel company, industry leader in technology, performance, and value, and the V350 stick, lightest stick on the market, 350 grams. Try it out. Go to CompleteSportsMedia.com for the details. And, of course, Forever Living, the aloe vera company, amazing products. We love them here. And go to CompleteSportsMedia.com. You'll find some details, get some ability to get some of the products for a lot great prices and some discounts for you. Okay, basketball. We're going to talk about the final, which starts on Wednesday. But today, the big news, Doc Rivers is out as the LA Clippers coach. Not sure if it was a mutually parting of ways or Steve Ballmer told him to hit the road. But 7 seasons in LA. Obviously, they were supposed to go all the way to the Western Conference Final at the least, and blew that 3-1 games lead against Denver and didn't. And Doc took the fall for not accomplishing their goals.
I was a little bit surprised at this move, to be honest with you. I thought Doc would have at least 1 or maybe 2 more seasons with this new cast of characters, because he only had the 1 year. And let's be honest, throughout the entirety of this year, that main unit really didn't have a lot of chances to play together. Yeah. And so I thought the second year, definitely now they can solidify things. They'll play together. They'll play more often, and they be more familiar with their, with the offense, defense switches, and just everything. Everything would be better, and especially with Doc's scheme. But now that he's gone and you're going to have another head coach, that means it's just going to be another philosophy and it's another way of coaching that the team's going to have to adjust to. Yeah, I understand. I understand the fact that Ballmer is probably he wanted to win right now, but at the same time, it's a hard thing to get to the finals. It's a hard thing to win outright, even if your team is they're figured to win out. It's still a hard thing to do. So I thought he still would have had time to get that done. I'm a little bit surprised, but maybe Ballmer has somebody in mind that he wants in. So.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I was surprised too. You're right. They had so many injuries this year. They didn't have that unit together much. They relied a lot on their bench scoring and then into the bubble. There was some talk about lack of cohesion, lack of the team getting together and really being a tight unit. They didn't seem to like each other for some reason. And that would be interesting to know the inside information about that and where that came from. But supposedly there was a lot of guys that just didn't get along. So, maybe that falls on the head coach and not being able to figure out how to, bring them all together. But it's going to be interesting to see who they replace him with. Obviously, Mike D'Antoni's out there. Maybe he goes in there and tries his small ball approach, and it could be pretty fun. Maybe Ballmer's looking in that direction. Do you think that could be a possibility?
I'd hope not, to be honest with you, because then if D'Antoni does, it's going to be small ball. He's gonna rip that team apart. a lot of pieces that I believe work on that team would be gone, right? Because he doesn't like big men. He doesn't use them. He feels that they're worthless in his offense. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to be honest. I have no idea who would be the proper fit for that team right now going forward. I just don't know. But it's going to be very interesting to see who they do decide to hire going forward. And I'm definitely going to be keeping my eyes peeled to that to see who they have in mind and who they hire to run that team.
Yeah, so Wednesday, the NBA Finals starts, and it's LA Lakers against Miami Heat. Lakers were the favorite going into the season, even after the pandemic. Even though they struggled once they hit the bubble, they were still favored to go all the way, and they made it. Miami Heat wasn't. They were a fifth seed, and that's only the third time in 36 years that a seed number 5 or lower has made the finals. But you predicted it a long, long time ago. You and I met on one of these Zoom calls, and you said, Miami, hey, look at them. I love the way they play, their style. I think they're going to go really far. You look out. I think they're my dark horse. I'd like to pull that out and replay it right now and say, look at this. I don't have that capability right now, but you remember saying it right at the beginning of the playoffs. It was definitely a very incredible moment for you, and I'm glad you did. And you were right. You were really right.
Yeah, man. Because if you watch, I've watched basketball my whole life. I know when I see something special, and that team has a special thing to it. They got something going on. What they actually remind me of is the Detroit Pistons back in the early 2000s. They have that thing going on where, yes, the Lakers may have the 2 best players in the league, but then Miami Heat has everybody else. And they're just a good team, period. The whole team is good. And I listened to J.J. Redick's podcast just the other day. I definitely agree with him on this. That's the way that I've always seen basketball being played, where the role players star in their roles. They own their roles, and they excel in said roles. to the point that anybody in Miami could just be interchangeable. They could have different players be the top scorers in every freaking game. Yeah. And that's just the way that they play. And so if you have that capability, that is super hard for the Lakers to go, well, who do we shut down? Like, who's the guy? Because it could be any one of those guys. Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo are the two main guys. But any of those other guys can just step in, like Duncan Robinson, all of a sudden they go off and hit 6 for 7 threes. Tyler Hero scored 40 points. You know what I mean? Like, that's that team. They can do that. And I just want to add, Bam Adebayo is a top 10 guy right now. He's playing like it. He has been incredible in that closeout game against the Celtics. I think he was 11 for 15. Like, he was incredible. He's been playing incredibly well. And if there's anybody that can match up and play AD and match him up defensively, it's Bam.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Like his stats in that closeout game, 36, 14, and 5. It was the only the fourth guy in Miami Heat history to have 30, 10, and 5 in a playoff game. LeBron, Dwayne Wade, and Shaquille O'Neal are the only other three guys to be able to have those numbers in the Miami Heat uniform. It's going to be kind of cool to see LeBron James against Miami. Obviously, LeBron went to Miami and said he was going to win about 5 or 6 championships there. He was able to win 2 and take the Heat to 3 out of the 4 years to the final. I think it's going to bring up a lot of storylines. Obviously, Pat Riley with the Lakers for many, many years, and now with the Heat for many years too. I think it's going to be a great series. And Butler, I think is a guy that's going to be really hard for them to stop. But like you say, they can just interchange. And if the Lakers try to stop one guy, then another guy's going to beat him. And I think the series is going to be great, really great.
I'm going to make a prediction. I'm going to make a prediction right now.
Good.
I think the Miami Heat win this series in 6.
Nice. Wow.
That's what I honestly believe that. I think a lot of people are really kind of putting all their eggs on the 2 superstars in AD and LeBron. But I think the Heat are going to show you that basketball is still a team game, and you can't just rely on 2 people to always get you the wins. Yeah. Unless LeBron just goes, well, I'm just going to reverse the wheels of time so it seems like I'm back in Miami again, which he could probably do. He can't do that. And then I don't know what's going to happen. That'll probably be a 7-game series. But I truly believe, though, that the Heat win this in 6 games.
Well, that's a great prediction. Yeah. Wow. Let's hope so. I think most people are going to, predict that Lakers are going to take it. As I said, they were predicted at the beginning of the season with the Anthony Davis acquisition and LeBron there, for his second season. They've been able to get there, but LeBron's learned that just getting there doesn't guarantee him a championship. I guess he's 3-6 in the finals so far. This is 10 out of 11 years, though. LeBron's been in the finals. And you and I have talked week after week how incredibly amazing it is that he's, still as good as he is, maybe even better than he ever was at this age. And I mean, if he can win another championship, bringing a third franchise a title here, he's starting to creep up on Jordan territory and maybe considered one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest. So it'll be his to lose, I guess. As they're definitely the favorite.
Yeah, man. And also too, if he does pull this off and he wins the championship in his, his 17th year, 16th year in the league? Okay, think about that for a second. 17th year in the league? Like, what are you talking about? You should not be able to pull this off. It was that far into your career. And it's where it's just like, well, he doesn't slow down. Like it's always been a prime for him, which is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And then also too, if you have LeBron James on your team, you're going to the final. Hey, that's basically what that means. I got LeBron James. It means I'm going to the finals. It's absolutely amazing what he's accomplished. Yeah, there's so many more things I can say about LeBron, but we've all talked about those things. He's one heck of a player. He's an amazing player, and I can't wait to see what this series turns out to be.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I think it's going to be a really great epic series that we're going to remember for many, many, many years to come. And I think it's going 7, and it would be great to see the Heat win. Yeah, I'm not making a prediction right now, but I can't wait to see how it unfolds. Yeah, starting on Wednesday. So, yeah, basketball's still got another week or two. So I'm sure you and I'll be able to break it down 1 or 2 more times, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Why don't we talk a little bit about UFC 253? Really great card. Went to Abu Dhabi and started it off with a really big bang. A couple of belts on the line, and the main event, Israel Adesanya showed that he's the greatest middleweight in the world, and yeah, no matter who they put in front of him, he's able to knock him down and stay undefeated. And what a masterful performance that was. Just didn't even allow Costa to do anything to him, and was able to get a huge knockout win. It was super impressive, and I don't know who's going to beat him. I don't know if he can be beat.
He made that look easy. He made that look real easy, to the point that I'm like, oh man, I did not expect any of that. Like, I thought this was going to be a war. I thought Costa was going to try to run through him. But at the same time, I think Costa felt the sharpness of his attacks, the accuracy of said attacks, and he was like, oh, this is not what I expected. I think he got shocked a little bit inside there. And so that made him hesitant. And then all of a sudden he didn't pull the trigger. And then he's reacting to all of Adesanya's feints. It was just a snowball of things that all of a sudden his mind is working overtime. But now he's not engaging. He's not attacking anymore. Took him right out of his game. Adesanya took him right out of his game. And he made it look easy. That man is a scary dude.
Yeah. We've talked a lot about calf kicks for months, you and I, and I'm not sure why almost everybody doesn't utilize that, because it's just an incredibly safe tool, because you're staying away, you're staying on the outside, but you're really, really diminishing a guy's abilities. And that calf kick, immediately you could see the damage to Costa's legs. Even though he's such a beast and he's so amazingly muscular, you could tell that really diminished him, and he wasn't able to check them enough. He wasn't able to get off of that, and Adesanya used it as an incredible weapon.
Yeah, the calf kicks basically neutralized or neutered Costa's attack. Like, it really did. Totally incapacitated him. And then in the second round, Adesanya just took him out. Flurry of punches. It's over. And to the point where I'm just like, I just remember when it happened, I'm like, would you look at that? It's done. Like, it was the fight was very anticlimactic. Had a huge buildup. You thought this was going to be a war, and then Adesanya just comes in there and goes, nah, no war. I'm probably not even going to get hurt, and it's going to be over in 2. And I never would have imagined that fight would have gone that way, ever.
No, it was strange because, Paulo Costa, he fought differently than I've seen him fight in the last while, and just didn't seem to use the same type of game plan, and was cautious. I think they said that I heard his coaches talk after, and they said that they thought that they would try to stay away from any trouble. They would try to wear him down a little bit and then attack him in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds, but didn't even get a chance to go there. And Adesanya, wow, he's so impressive. Immediately he called out Jared Cannonier, and Cannonier's got to get through for Robert Whittaker. We'll see how that fight turns out. I think that's in, when is that, October? Coming up October 24th, UFC 254. That should be a great battle if Cannonier can get through there. But I'm not sure if anybody in that division right now can beat Adesanya.
Yeah, he's kind of reminds me of a little somebody that used to hold that belt. Kind of reminds me of Anderson Silva.
Yeah.
where Anderson Silva was like, at his peak, Anderson Silva couldn't be touched. He was just like, well, who do I fight this time? Okay, that will be super easy. Okay, like that's the way that he's coming across right now. And don't forget, the man's undefeated. I think he's the second champion with an undefeated record, and B being the other one. And so, like, yeah, man. So he hasn't even lost yet. He's better than John Jones. Because Jones got one loss. Yeah, it's a loss that he probably shouldn't have had. But you know what I mean? That's how good this guy is. That's how good he is. Yeah. And so it doesn't matter who he's fighting for the next little bit. I think it's going to be really, really hard to knock this guy off for a while.
Yeah, his style is just incredible. What a great nickname, that style bender, just amazing. That City Kickboxing out of New Zealand has just started to bring in so many incredible fighters into the UFC. Adesanya is now 9-0 UFC middleweight champ. Volkanovski's 9-0 featherweight champ. Then they've got Dan Hooker 10-5 in the UFC, number 4 lightweight. Kai Kara-France, who was on this card, he's 4-2, number 7 flyweight. Then they got Riddell, who won on this card, 4-0. And then they've got a couple other guys as well, like super impressive camp out of there. 4 guys on this card, and I can't believe that the quality of guys that are coming out of New Zealand.
Yeah, man. New Zealand stand up. They're coming out with so many guys that it's just surprising. It's surprising that so many quality fighters are coming from a very small country of New Zealand. But you know what? You can't count anybody out from any part of the country. You know what I mean? Like, you're just going to find these guys, and they're coming in with a chip on their shoulders and with all the skills to match. So, very impressive stuff.
Dana White said this many, many years ago, and a lot of people scoffed at him. And, he said, fighting is a global sport. It's going to be more popular. UFC is going to eventually be more popular than soccer. And everybody was just like, no chance, no chance. But it's proving year after year how many more countries are stepping up and bringing in incredible fighters. There's actually only one American that holds a belt right now, and that's Stipe Miocic. The rest of the belts are held by people from all these countries around the globe, and it's becoming bigger and bigger and bigger year after year. And when a country has belt holders, that sport starts to really start taking hold. We saw it here in Canada with George St. Pierre. We see it in many countries with Bisping, being such a really big mixed martial artist. All of a sudden, he was big in the UK. We see it. It's becoming global, and Dana White was right. It's pretty impressive to see.
Yeah, Dana White was right. But also, too, like, you can see the step-by-step process that the UFC has grown their product. Like, they've earned everything that they've gotten to up to this point. Like with the advent of the Ultimate Fighter, and then going on the line from that, and just getting out the fights to the masses. And then also to making sure that they get fighters from different countries to come into their organization. They've made sure that they've chased after these fighters to get them into their organization. And so you got to give props to them for doing all of that, to make sure that they have the best fighters on the planet in their organization.
Yeah, no, it's been super impressive and really, really neat to see. Poland's got another champion now. The co-main event had Jan Blachowicz against Dominic Reyes, and Blachowicz, he really used his experience and took a huge victory. Everybody thought Reyes was going to do it. I had my doubts because Blachowicz had actually had twice as many victories as Reyes had fights as a mixed martial artist, and Blachowicz looked great. Huge win, and he called out John Jones right away after that win. And let's see, John Jones said maybe he'll come back and give him that opportunity to see if he can solidify that title. But How did you like the fight?
I'm gonna be honest, man. I didn't even have Blachowicz have his chance in this fight, and that was stupid of me to do that. I thought because of what I saw from Reyes in his last fight against John Jones, I thought if that guy shows up again, I didn't think Blachowicz had a chance. But Reyes didn't actually look that sharp that night. He didn't actually look all that great. And Blachowicz, savvy veteran that he is, he kind of bided his time and did his attacks when he knew he should. And then also, too, you got to remember, light heavyweights, these guys can punch, man. These guys can punch. And when he rearranged Reyes' nose for him for free, that's when he got in trouble. Big time trouble. You know, like when your nose goes over here on this side of your face, it's like, oh, no, he's seriously hurt. And then, just rained down them punches, and then that was it. That was all she wrote, man. Very impressive win by Jan. And, hey, props to him. And props to him for calling out John Jones immediately. I don't think that fight's going to happen. But, hey, you might as well give it a shot.
Yeah. Yeah, I can tell you from firsthand experience, breaking your nose, it immediately really is tough to keep fighting. You can feel the crunching going on. You can, definitely feel it searing through the rest of your head. I've had my nose broken a few times in fights, and it's not a fun experience. And you're right. It seemed like that really threw him. It seemed like once Blachowicz had broken his nose, Reyes just really seemed to falter and wilt. And we have a new champion. It was, a super impressive performance and great to see. Nice to see an upset like that. I don't think many people would have put money on Blachowicz winning, but he's won 8 out of 9. His only loss was Thiago Santos. Santos has another fight coming up, but I could see that being a fight that he would like to avenge one of his losses, to avenge that loss and get an opportunity. There's a lot of really good fighters in that division that he could face, but I guess we'll see in the coming months who they decide to put him up against.
Well, I hope Santos wins his next fight, because I'd love to see that fight. I would love to see that fight, because if there's anybody that would be an immediate threat to Jan's reign right now, it's that dude. The dude with the hammer on his chest, tattooed on his chest. That guy.
Yeah. He fights Glover Teixeira on November the 7th. So that fight won't take place until the new year if it is Santos. So we'll see how it shakes out. Both Adesanya and Blachowicz got $50K for performance of the night, but the fight of the night, both guys getting a $50,000 performance, was Kai Kara France, who we mentioned is from New Zealand in that city kickboxing group, and then Brandon Royval. Wow, this was an amazingly entertaining fight. Both guys were down at points. Really a big scramble, a lot of amazing stand-up war, and on the ground, fun fight to watch. I definitely think they deserve the $50K each.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah, they earned that. They earned that. That was great. That was great for as long as it lasted, especially with the fact in the first round where they dropped each other and stuff. And I'm just like, oh my God, look at this. And then the thing that I was really impressed by was Royval's his ground exchanges, his transitions from gogi plata attempts to omoplata attempts to armbar attempts. And then when he finally managed to chain it the right way together, and I believe he ended the fight with a guillotine choke in the second. Man, it was a thing of beauty. He set that up beautifully. He set that up so nice. It was a great win by Royval, and I believe it was his 4th win in a row and his 2nd consecutive $50,000 post-fight bonus as well. So great win by Royval. He's got that train moving in the right direction for himself. He's looking great. He's looking good.
Yeah. It was his 2nd UFC appearance. He's looking really fantastic. 8 wins by submission. He's finished 10 of his 11 wins, and I'm super impressed with him. It looked like France was the better fighter coming in here, but Royval had a huge victory there. There was a women's bantamweight fight right before that. Really great 15 minutes of action between Caitlin Vieira and Sajara Eubanks. Vieira got the decision in the end, but yeah, great battle. Vieira looks like she's a weight class up to me than Eubanks. She's a big girl, and I think she's going far. She looked really impressive.
She looked great, and she looked massive in that fight. She looked big, man. I was just like, oh, man, she's a huge monster in that ring right now, or in that octagon right now. So, and Vieira's stand-up is just on point. It was really on point that night. And that's what really won her the victory against that. And Sajara was game, but Vieira was just that much, just better. She's just better.
That's right, yeah. So we had our Canadian in the featherweight fight right before that on the main card, Hakeem Dawodu from Calgary. Yeah, he was a little angry of his performance. He really likes to have highlight reel knockouts and big victories. Zubaira Tukhugov, he sort of decided that he would run in that third round. He wasn't exchanging at all, and Dawodu got pretty angry about that. He ended up getting the decision, and he's now 12-1-1. I think he's going far in this featherweight division. Yeah, it's too bad that the other guy wouldn't exchange with him and give him an opportunity to get a nice highlight reel finish. But yeah, what are you going to do if a guy doesn't want to fight with you? What are you going to do?
No, man. Well, you could cuss at him, which is what Dawodu did, and then he got warned by the ref for all the cussing that he was doing in the ring. But man, that guy T. I'm just gonna call him T. So anyway, T. He actually had 2 great rounds, and then decided to stop fighting. That's why he lost the fight. He didn't engage in the third round. I was watching the fight going, okay, so what's he doing? Is he going to wait like to a halfway point and then re-engage? No, actually, he's just going to run for the whole round? What do you do? Like, it boggled my mind. Boggled my mind. And you know what? Hopefully this taught him a lesson, because you got to fight the whole way through. The whole way through. You can't just fight a couple rounds and then take the last round off, because if you do that, it's still judged, and the judges might give it to the other guy. Dawodu stole that fight from Tukhugov because he didn't fight anyone. He decided to not fight in the third, and that's why he lost the fight.
Yeah, it was pretty bizarre. I'm not sure if his corner convinced him that he was up 2 rounds to nothing and, just keep away from the guy and you got this victory. That's the only thing that I can think of, because, yeah, he wouldn't engage. And you're right. Dawodu got warned by the ref, because he was like, come on, I want to fight, and swearing at him. And he just wouldn't. He just kept running and took the loss. I'm glad the judges gave it to Dawodu, and onwards and upwards. I don't think the UFC is going to be impressed with that performance with the Russian guy. And yeah, they might not give him a fight for a while because of that performance. So yeah. So some other fights on the prelims. Anything stand out to you? Do you want to mention any of the guys? Diego Sanchez was there, not looking good. Might be time to hang him up. He's been around for forever. Obviously, winner of UFC Tough 1. Yeah, it's too bad, but I think it might be time to hit the road for Diego. Do you want to mention some of the other fights on the prelim card?
Well, I'll just mention this. Yeah, Diego, at least he had a Diego fight where he was a bloody mess at the end of it, so that was pretty cool. But you know what, man? I watched that guy and I watch his whole walk-in stuff and what he does, and I'm like, super weird dude. Nothing you do makes sense anymore. I don't know. I don't know if he's taking too many shots to the dome now. Like it just seems like to me that there's something very, very off with him now. And I don't know if he should still continue to keep fighting and continue to keep getting punched in the head. Maybe this is being a detriment to him now. But that was a great win by Matthews, dominant win. And then I just want to say the other one I wanted to mention was the Klein versus Young fight. I believe Klein missed weight, but Young acted like a goddamn fool in the pre-fight thing. And I just didn't like the way that he was coming across. And then Klein knocked him out. And I'm like, well, you acted like a kind of a jerk off. So that's what you get. I understand that you have to market a fight, but you can still be respectful in marketing a fight. You don't have to act like a clown in there. And when you do, you could have the possibility of getting knocked out very, very fast. So that's all I got to say.
Yeah. I mean, this sport is a sport that shows really great sportsmanship. Typically, they can trash talk all they want sometimes, but when a guy's that obnoxious and that rude about things, you're not sad when you see him lose. And Klein looked fantastic. What a performance! Amazing head kick, followed it up. Is ground and pounded, and when he was hit the canvas, and the referee quickly stopped it. I think Klein, I think he's got a bright future in the featherweight division, and I think it was a pretty impressive performance. I did like that light heavyweight fight between William Knight and Alexa Kamier. That was a fun fight. Knight, man, is that guy a tank? I cannot believe the size of him, and he's just got so much muscle, so much bulk on that light heavyweight frame. It's insane.
Yeah, he was a physical specimen. Like, I remember when I first saw these two guys walk in, I go, I think that one dude's going to win. He passed the eye test, so to speak. And great win on his part. And he kind of wore down Cameron. You know what I mean? Like, he was really starting to come on in the second. And then the third, he finally got his top position, ground and pounded him out, and he got the win. Great win by Knight.
Yeah, he just got his contract on September 1st, winning in the Apex and the Contender Series, and less than a month later, he's got his first UFC victory. So great on him. Really incredible performance, and I'm looking forward to seeing him. Man, he is a physical specimen. Really impressive. So that was another fantastic card. They just keep coming fast and furious for us, week after week after week. Next week's card, women's bantamweight main event, Holly Holm against Irene Aldana. Probably going to be a really great fight. There's Jermaine Durandamy and Juliana Pena, and a lot of no names kind of guys that are on these cards. So I'm sure it'll be just as impressive as we've seen a lot of these lesser cards throughout the last few months.
Yeah, man. Like, it's an opportunity for these guys to make a name for themselves, to make a statement in the UFC. And so this is big time. This is big time for all of those fighters that you haven't heard of. Just like we hadn't heard of Chimaev before, but now we know who that guy is. And so you have the opportunity to do that. And that's why you fight. That's why you work your butt off to get to this point, so that you can make a name and make a legacy for yourself, right? So.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. One thing I failed to mention was after the first 3 weeks of NFL football, that's the highest amount of points ever scored by a wide margin. It was actually already set a record before the Monday Nighter even started tonight. So prolific offensive football in these first 3 weeks, really a lot of high scores and a lot of fun games. The NFL's been really fantastic to watch these last 3 weeks. I missed the crowds for sure, but it's been really, really, really great to see these offensive generating points so fast and furiously.
Yeah, man. Like, the quality of the games hasn't diminished at all. Like for all the professional sports across the board, it just hasn't diminished, and I'm super impressed by that. I really am. Like, where I'm like, I thought maybe they'd look rusty. Maybe it just wouldn't look as good. No worries about that. Professional pros are pros, and they come ready to play. And so it's just been a pleasure to see these guys get back on the field and do what they do.
Two last updates before we go. Chiefs are sitting at the 2-yard line right now, 27-20. 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and they just scored a touchdown, so now they're up by 2 touchdowns. Mahomes with another touchdown pass. And we're a minute away from Tampa Bay winning another cup. 2-0 right now over Dallas. Dallas has an empty net. About a minute left in this game. So Tampa Bay is about to raise the cup again. Steven Stamkos came out for 2 minutes and 47 seconds of this entire playoffs. Got to go. He's going to come out, I'm sure, in his skates and his uniform and lift the cup and, be able to cheer on that team that raised the cup again. What a performance for Tampa Bay after last year's debacle, losing in the first round to Columbus, and now going all the way and taking it this year.
Yeah. And what's even more impressive is that they won the cup without their best guy. It's like, you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to win anything without your best guy. Although the team can kind of say, well, Steve, we know you're good, but we don't really need you.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
Oh, man. But hey, great on Tampa Bay. So I think, what is that for the number of Stanley Cups they've won now? 2?
I think that's their third. I'm pretty sure that's the third. Yeah.
So that's impressive stuff. Just an impressive win, and I just have to say I did make a bet with a coworker, and now I owe him $20. So
okay,
that's what I got.
Shoot. Hopefully you can do double or nothing to get something that's a sure thing for you.
Yeah. I want to bet him in basketball, but I don't think he wants to take the Lakers. He's been listening to me too much. He's like, no, it's mine, eat or bust. I'm not taking anybody else. Like,
damn. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Hey, man. Well, this was fun. I'm glad we could do it. Always great as usual. A way to cap off a really fun sports weekend. And, great insight. Glad you had a chance to watch a lot of sports like I did. And I hope you have a really good week ahead. Thanks, man.
Oh, yeah, man. Thank you so much. And you have yourself a great week as well.
Sure. Okay. Take care. Bye for now. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to sign off really quick and watch the celebration for Tampa Bay and watch the end of this Monday nighter. So thanks so much for tuning in. It was great as usual. Go to CompleteSportsMedia.com. Go to YouTube. Go to the podcast platforms. Support us as much as you can. Thanks so much. Take care of yourself. Love you. Bye for now.